Hi guys, it's Mandy from Mandyleeplays, and for today's video, I'm gonna do a follow-up for all the Sony shenanigans that's been happening. I didn't want to make another video about the whole physicals being gone until Sony responded. And technically, they did respond. And predictably, their response was no good. But before we get into it, please hit that like button if you end up liking the video. And consider subscribing if you're not yet subscribed. So there's a lot that happened in those weeks that we've never got an answer for. And Sony did reply. Kind of. They didn't reply to the gamers, consumers, anything like that. No, they replied to their investors. Now look, I know the situation that they're in. There is probably nothing they could really say that would get people to like Sony again. Maybe if they just walked it back, but I don't think Sony is going to walk this back. As much as I hate to admit, they're like 10 toes down with their approach to physical gaming, and the amount of smugness from Sony is just irking me, especially when it comes to their CFO, which is the person that responded in Sony's name to their investors. This wasn't even for us. First things first, we had to dive into that shareholders meeting. Honestly, just hearing the phrase shareholders meeting is icky because yes, I know it's a business, stuff like that happens, but you don't usually get stuff to the customers through a shareholders meeting. But since everybody is like waiting for Sony to respond, they're gonna look into things like a shareholders meeting. So Sony's CFO, Lin Tao, which I might add, her picture that they always post on Twitter has the most smug smile ever, and it pisses me off. But anyways, she is the CFO, and she basically spat on the faces of anybody who wants to know what's going on with Sony and physical media. So quote, "At this point in time, we are not seeing any impact on our business as of now. A large part is already digitized, and therefore, as a result, the discontinuation of disc, we don't see that there will be a negative impact on our business." End quote. So yeah, she's basically saying we're going steam ahead with this whole no disc, and they don't really see a business impact from this decision. Whether they're just lying that they're doing well, because yeah, they could lie. But still, the lack of awareness is just disgusting. I hate it. And again, this is for a shareholders meeting. This is not for the gamers, consumers, and customers. They haven't put an official statement regarding consumers and customers. Most companies really value PR and how they look good to the consumers and customers. And yeah, they're a company first and foremost, but they're also a company that sells a product to the consumer. Now it feels like let's squeeze out every cent from our customers and consumers and not give a damn. Not even to say something on Twitter. I mean, say what you want about Nintendo, they could be greedy too, but at least they have some good PR. But Sony's like, we're not even gonna make a Twitter post about it. We're just gonna go on as usual and pretend nothing has happened. Again, it's just disgusting. Also, Sony put out something that was so tone deaf that I honestly think they didn't even think about it. Granted, this is different from their gaming area, but they announced a new vinyl player. And the post even said, "Drop the needle, press play, and enjoy music the way it was meant to be heard. Time for an upgrade." You know how games were meant to be played with the physical disc? You don't remember that, Sony? You just axed it like not that long ago. And before they scrubbed that tweet, they were telling us to rediscover the warmth, beauty, and ritual of vinyl. You can't make this stuff up. You can't make this stuff up. And while I'm glad that vinyl enthusiasts are getting what they want, it was really tone deaf of them to do that amidst all the controversies. And then promoting something that lets you play your vinyl. And everything that they're posting and stuff is not related to what they're doing. And might I add, what they're doing is not a little controversial thing. They're axing physical games, at least from PlayStation, and just making it a monopoly on their shop. That's a big deal, guys. Even if they're still going ahead with this plan, they haven't said anything to their customers or consumers or diehard fans. They haven't said anything. And their silence really speaks volumes. And then we have the defenders. Of course, there's always going to be a defender. I've seen two types of Sony ponies. One is they're all in with this digital whatever. But then there's there's another camp where they kind of shift the goalposts. First it was physical media is good and they'll call them out and they show their support to physical media, but then it feels like Sony is not going to walk it back, so now they're like, this is not about the plastic boxes and stuff. Come on, be so for real. And yes, insert meme of protecting my billion-dollar company. These people are annoying. Now speaking for myself, I have bought digital games, so this isn't about me making some grand statement or grandstanding on my morals and how physical gaming is the best way. No, it's just my preferred way. And now I'm really starting to think how I'm going to go about this post Sony axing physical games. For me personally, I just don't want to buy anything Sony after they stop physical media. Currently, I have a lot of PlayStation games. I'm not gonna throw them out or burn them or whatever, and I'm still gonna get the upcoming games that I pre-ordered physical for my PlayStation. So basically, I'm gonna support physical PlayStation games until I can't. And another thing is, I know Sony has become so arrogant and smug about this whole thing. Like, hey, you're making things for people that buy it, shouldn't you give a damn about it? But this is not new. Actually, Nintendo became kind of arrogant with the whole Wii era, so the Wii U was kind of a reality check. The same thing has to happen to Sony. And all the goodwill from the PlayStation 4 era really got to their head, but they were just pretending to be nice. The facade is off and they don't care. When it comes to key cards and which is worse, I say they're like the lesser of two evils. You go with the key card, you have it physically, you could trade it and whatever, which is good, but it's still a digital game. And hopefully by the time Sony enacts their no physical, which is in like 2 years, keycards won't be as big as a thing and there'll be more full-on physical games for the Switch. If that happens, I'll start playing my Switch 2 way more. But anyways, let's move on. Time for the $1,000,000 question. And that is, why is Sony doing all this? Short answer, money. Long answer, more money. Let's get into it. Why is Sony going so hard in this decision? Well, basically, they want to make the PlayStation Store the only place where you could buy a PlayStation game. I'm guessing in the long term, they want to cut a lot of the retailers like Target, Best Buy, GameStop, or any other place you buy your games and keep that revenue for themselves. So it's basically they're limiting your options on where to buy a game so you could get it on their site. And if that sounds like a monopoly, then you're right, because it probably is. But they have a bunch of lawyers, so what do I know? And you might be wondering, if they want people to buy on their website, why don't they do some type of rewards program or prizes or something for shopping on the PlayStation Store? Why don't they do consumer friendly stuff like that? Because they don't care. Actually, they stopped their Stars reward program where they give you certain points and then you can unlock things. Yeah, they stopped that. They'd rather just pull out the competition. Boom. This is so crazy. And also, they haven't said anything about your rights to a product in the digital era. Nope, not a peep. They still don't have a refund policy. So basically, yeah, they want to monopolize their store and make it the best. Not because of incentives or perks, but just because that's the only way you could get the game. So it's clear, the reason why they're doing this is money, greed. And this is why a lot of people are moving to the PC. Now you might be wondering, the PC does not have any physicals, but there's a difference. The refund policy is way better. You could gift games and give them away. You can't trade it in though, but there's still better ways to own your digital games. And it's not just Steam, you could go to other websites as well. So yeah, if we're gonna go with this whole digital utopia or whatever, I'm gonna do that on Steam. Heck no, am I gonna do that on PlayStation. And look, Steam has its faults. The Steam machine is still overpriced, but they know the best way to make a digital storefront. And one of the best qualities about Steam that PC bros won't shut up about is that you don't have to pay a subscription. So yeah, if I'm going all digital, I'm going it on the PC. And plus, you could build your PC, customize it, and yes, I know RAM prices are ridiculous, or you can even get a pre-built. My PC is a pre-built actually. But if you're not really a PC person, there's also other consoles like the Nintendo. Is that it? Xbox technically hasn't stopped their physical releases, but we all know they're gonna follow suit right after. So yeah, that just leaves the Nintendo Switch. So the next point I want to address is Sony still is trying to put this fake narrative how good digital games are. But keep in mind, this is not from Sony themselves because they haven't said anything. And I find it really weird how at first gaming journalists and websites like that were all for physical gaming and all that jazz, but then as days gone by, they kind of changed their tune. Like, gee, I wonder what happened there. And yes, somebody could spin it where, why do they do physical games when they don't sell as much? Well, here's one thing. Why the freak did they make this whole vinyl player set for vinyls if they don't sell as much as downloads? You wanna know why? Because there's a market for it. There's a market for physical games too. Next part, am I buying a PlayStation 6? No, I'm not. Not just because of the whole digital thing, but because the machine is probably gonna be over $1,000, and by that point, I might as well get a Steam machine. Until then, I'm still going to support my PlayStation 5 and buy games for that before everything kicks the bucket. And my backlog is very big when it comes to my PlayStation stuff, so I'll have stuff to play. And as of now, I'm not really liking any of Sony's first party games. God of War is actually pretty good. I haven't played the second one yet, and Laufey does look like a good game, but it's releasing before they stop all the prints, so I'm probably gonna enjoy those. But anything after that, I'm not really loving Sony's first party library. So this is the end of the video. Please tell me what you think about this whole situation. Are you pro what they're doing? Are you against it? Are you in the middle? Please let me know. Also, please do hit that like button if you like the video, and consider subscribing if you're not yet subscribed. With all that being said, I hope you guys have a beautiful, wonderful rest of your day, and as always, play a good game. Peace, peace.